Hello and welcome to a very special edition of the Movie Podcast. My name is Daniel. I am one of your hosts, and joining alongside me today is Shahbaz. How are you, Shahbaz?
Hello. I'm doing great. I'm very full. I had a great lunch, so now I'm kind of in that post meal kind of phase of my life.
Yeah, the post-meal phase is great. We did have our movie podcast, get together today with the three of us. So you, myself, and Anthony, we had like a little lunch after a little event that we had this morning. And, this is a bit of a surprise episode. This was like, we weren't sure if this was going to happen this year. So this is kind of like a Christmas miracle, if you will, that we are so happy that we got to get this episode out as our final episode of the year. Because guess what, Shay? We had an incredible year of special guests. And we could not end the year off with, of course, one more surprise. Because guess what? We have another special guest joining us today to end out what is a banner year for the Movie Podcast.
Just when I thought we were out, they pull us back in.
They do exactly. And if you've been listening to the Movie Podcast over the past couple months, you may have heard that we've been doing some shows sponsored by our friends at MUBI. Of course, MUBI is the best way to get a world of cinema at your fingertips. We've been really lucky to work with them. We've loved working with them. And of course, because of that, it also led us down the path of catching Decision to Leave, which is one of our favorite films of the year. It is now streaming on MUBI, so you could watch it now at home, which we highly recommend you do. And also check out our review of the film because we really go in depth about what we loved about it. But because of our partnership with MUBI, we were able to get an interview with the one and only Park Hae-il, who is, of course, the star of Decision to Leave with Tang Wei, who is absolutely incredible in this film. And, this is our little gift that we get to give, to us, but also was a gift for us because we were just so excited to be able to talk with him and share time with them. And also, what's really big for us on the show, this is the first interview that we've ever done where we've had, a translator working with us to do it. So we are very much a worldwide show now, I would say.
Yeah, we're everywhere. We see you when you're sleeping. We know when you're awake. We're kind of like the Santa Claus of podcasts, I think, at this point.
Interesting. I like that.
That's how we get everywhere so quick.
Exactly that. I love that, Shahbaz. But also, I want to remind you, as this is the final episode of the year of 2022, we are ending it with a bang. I just want to say thank you again for everyone who's listened, who's watched, who's subscribed, who supported us. This has been, like we said, a monumental year for the show. And we cannot thank you enough for getting us here. And we cannot wait to show you what we have planned for next year. So stay tuned for all of that and more. Make sure you're subscribed to us on all podcast feeds on YouTube. Join our Discord. We want to know what you get for Christmas. So let us know and what you're watching to prepare for the season. And follow us on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and Letterboxd at The Movie Podcast. Once again, I want to say thank you to our friends at MUBI for making this interview happen. Decision to Leave is now streaming on their platform. And we, in the spirit of the holiday, want to give you the chance to have a whole month of MUBI for free. That is a whole month of incredible cinema for free. Stay tuned later in the show for our ad read. But without further ado, please welcome Park Hae-il to the Movie Podcast. Hello, Park. My name is Daniel.
And I'm Shahbaz.
Thank you so much for sharing your time with us on the Movie Podcast today.
네, 안녕하세요. 저는 다니엘 그리고 슈베스라고 하고요. 무비 팟캐스트에 오늘 함께 해주셔서 대단히 감사합니다.
네, 초대해 주셔서 감사합니다. 배우 박해일이라고 합니다.
Thank you for having me. My name is Park Hae-il.
Beautiful. How's your day going?
네, 오늘 어떠신가요?
오늘 눈 많이 왔어요. 집
It
앞에
snowed a
눈이
lot.
많이 쌓였어요. 거긴 어때요?
And it just snowed a lot and I can see a lot of snow accumulating in front of my apartment. How is it over there? How is the weather?
The weather right now is good. We are expecting a big snowstorm later this week, so we're just preparing for
We'll be
that.
with you soon.
아, 네, 저희도 이번 주 이제 좀 말쯤에 아마도 네, 눈이 많이 올 거라고 지금 예보가 되어 있습니다.
네. 데뷔 잘하시길 바라겠습니다.
Hope you get prepared for that.
We will. Congratulations to you and the entire team behind Decision to Leave. It is a film that we absolutely love and haven't stopped thinking about. How does it feel to finally have it released for the world to see?
네, 우선은 헤어질 결심의 배우님을 비롯한 모든 분들께 축하 말씀드리고 싶습니다. 사람들이 굉장히 열광하고 있고 굉장히 오랫동안 마음에 남는 영화로 그렇게 인식이 되고 있습니다. 이제 전 세계의 관객들을 많이 이제 만나게 될 텐데 기분이 어떠신가요?
국내에서도 그렇고, 해외 관객 여러분과 일단 영화로, 스크린을 통해서 만나다 보니까 그것만으로도 너무 행복했고, 또 해외 홍보 일정으로 나가서 관객분들을 만나서 얘기를 들어보면, 영화를 보셨던 박찬욱 감독님의 어떤, 작품의 세계를, 어, 영화만이 누릴 수 있는 미학을 즐겨주시는 것 자체가 피부로 느낄 수 있어서 너무 좋았습니다.
Well, I was just so happy to be able to finally, meet the audience through the film, not only in Korea but also outside Korea. And also when I was doing some promotion work abroad, meeting the audience face to face, I could see how much the foreign audience absolutely adores the cinematic aesthetics of Mr. Park Chan-wook, the director. So it was so meaningful to me and so happy to see that.
It's wonderful.
Yeah, the movie, like you said, it's aesthetically so pleasing and so beautiful. So, congratulations to the whole team. And your character is one that is constantly battling to stay awake. What was your preparation like to take on a role of this detective?
네, 맞습니다. 미학적으로 정말 아름다운 영화라고 저희도 느끼고 있고요. 또 지금 이번에 연기하신 그 해준이라는 형사는 한마디로 이제 계속해서 어쨌든 눈을 뜨고 있어야 하는 그러기를 원하잖아요. 그런 캐릭터가 굉장히 특이하다고 생각했는데 준비하시면서 어떠셨는지 궁금합니다.
우선 보신 관객분들은 잘 아시겠지만 형사라는 캐릭터 치고는 대단히 폭력적이지 않으면서도 시민들에게 친절한 모습을 보이고 또 깔끔한 형사의 모습 그런 부분들이 그 한국 영화에서도 많이 다뤄지지 않았던 형사의 모습이어서 배우로서 개인적으로 되게 호기심이 갔었고 그 캐릭터를 박찬욱 감독님이 또 연출을 하신다고 하니 또 어떤 형사의 모습을 보여줄지도 굉장히 궁금했었고 굉장히 호기심을 가지고 다가갔던 작품이었고 또 영화 속에서 아시겠지만 탕웨이 씨라는 또 한국말을 잘 못하는 중국인 설정으로 나오시는 매력적인 여배우가 내면을 알 듯 모를 듯한 비밀스러운 감정을 가지고 있는 연기를 너무나 잘 해주셔서 둘이서 너무 행복했던 그런 촬영 기억이 있습니다.
Well, if you saw the film, I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. This detective is a quite unique one and very exceptional one because he's not so violent and he's very friendly and decorous towards the citizens. He's very clean. So this type of unique character quite stands out of all the detective characters seen in Korean films. So I was quite curious about what kind of character this can be, and especially Park Chan-wook's version of a detective of this kind. So I was filled with curiosity when I first approached this project, and also knowing that the one and only Tang Wei will be my partner, and that she will be playing this very attractive and mysterious female character who is a Chinese woman who doesn't speak good Korean, but also she is a very secretive one and who doesn't express her emotions. So there'll be layers of emotions that I'm going to have to read into, and all that setting and all the characterization was so attractive to me. So, and I felt that our chemistry was so good that when I was working with her on site, it was just a joyous days for me.
That's wonderful. And I think you definitely see the incredible performances from both of you because you do both work so wonderfully together. And anytime you're both on screen, it was very, it was beautiful to see that.
네, 두 분 다 워낙 연기력이 출중하신 분이시기 때문에 두 분이서 스크린에서 보여주시는 그 케미가 폭발하는 것을 저희가 볼 수 있었고 정말 아름다운 장면을 볼 수 있었습니다.
아유, 너무 고맙습니다. 네.
Thank you for that.
관객분들도 그렇게 봐주셨으면 좋겠네요. 네.
I hope that the audience will see that too.
Definitely.
네.
Definitely.
네.
This is your first time working with director Park. What was it like working within his process to develop your character from the script to the screen?
네, 이번에 박찬욱 감독님과 이제 처음으로 호흡을 맞추셨어요. 그래서 박찬욱 감독님과 함께 그렇게 캐릭터를 구축해가는 그 프로세스가 어떠셨는지 궁금합니다.
박찬욱 감독님의 그 지난 세월의 영화들을 보신 분들은 아시겠지만 굉장히 관객들에게 기술을 꽂히는 그런 인상을 깊은 필모들이 꽤 많잖아요.
Park Chan-wook, if you see his filmography, all his films are very powerful and strong, and it's very piercing into your heart type of films.
감독님의 이번 헤어질 결심에서의 작품은 감독님의 기질이 변하지는 않았지만 보다 다른 결을 가지고 보다 진화된 이야기를 만드신 것 같아요.
But this project was a different one. It still has what it makes a Park Chan-wook's signature film. The Park Chan-wook's signature is there. However, it has a different layer to it. And the story is more of an evolved one.
이를테면 이번 작품에서는 수사극이라는 테두리 안에서 용의자로 보이는 한 여인과 한 형사와의 로맨스가 아주 재밌는 화학작용을 일으키면서 보여주는 드라마라든가.
For example, this romance, this chemistry, the romantic chemistry between this female suspect and the detective unfolds in a very mysterious ways within this frame of police procedural drama.
그 인물들 주변으로 보이는 미술의 공간, 미장센, 산과 바다를 통해서 보여지는 인물들의 심리 변화, 극적 구성들, 또 음악과 미학적 영역들 그런 부분들이 감독님과 영화를 준비하면서 정말 많은 얘기들을 했던 것 같아요.
And all these artistic elements that compose around the characters, that build the characters and feed into the character, like the mise-en-scène and the character psychology and the narrative components that are represented by the imagery of sea and the mountains, as well as the music and all the aesthetical elements that really empower and make it enrich the characters. That was some of the things that I had conversation with the director, and that was our main focus when we were talking about the characterization.
그런 부분들은 대부분 감독님의 영역이지만 이번 작품에서는 감독님이 탕웨이 씨나 저라는 배우를 먼저 캐스팅하시고 시나리오를 완성하셨던 케이스입니다.
But of course, in terms of all that aesthetical elements, that's director's job, right? But this case was quite different one because this time around, he cast us first. He cast me and Tang Wei first before he started working on the script.
그렇기 때문에 감독님이 영화 속에서 배우를 대하는 태도가 좀 더 배우에게 유연하게 연기하고 그 배우가 가지고 있는 일상적인 모습들이라든가 그 작은 뉘앙스들을 많이 관찰해 주셔서 영화 속에서 부분 세세하게 활용해 주신 것 같아서 배우 입장에서는 좀 더 자연스러운 연기를 하는데 좀 좋았었던 기억이 있어요.
So that means he kind of added all these my personal characters. So, there's little details about myself and my characters and how I would behave. And he observed all these elements very carefully, and he fused those things into the character building from the very beginning of the screenplay writing. So all that really made me a lot, it was a lot easier for me to, perform, because it was kind of, different versions of myself. So it was a very natural process for me.
That's beautiful. Yeah, no, that I think we definitely see that on the screen because it does feel very authentic. And I think that's something that, Shay and I, when we were both watching, that this is not only is it a beautiful film, but the performances feel so grounded in the situation of what's happening.
네, 그런 거를 저희도 스크린을 통해서 직접 볼 수가 있었습니다. 그래서 이 캐릭터가, 캐릭터가 굉장히 현실성을 가지고 있고 실제적이다라는 생각을 했습니다. 그래서 미학적으로도 눈으로 보기에도 굉장히 아름답기도 하지만 캐릭터와 그 상황 자체가 너무 현실성이 있어서 그게 굉장히 인상적으로 다가왔습니다.
예, 감사합니다. 저도 그렇게 생각합니다.
Oh, yeah, I definitely agree with you.
This episode of the Movie Podcast is brought to you by MUBI, a curated streaming service showing exceptional films from around the globe.
Every day, MUBI premieres a new film. From iconic directors to emerging auteurs, there is always something new to discover.
With MUBI, each and every film is hand-selected. It's like your own personal film festival, streaming anytime, anywhere. Daniel, you love Christmas, right?
I do love Christmas. Thank you so much for asking.
I didn't ask. And you haven't bought your family a gift yet, have you?
Shay, you know I love to wait to the absolute last minutes to buy the perfect gift.
Well, the best part about what I'm about to tell you right now is I have a way for you to give your family a curated streaming service that shows exceptional films from around the globe.
Shay, you know I've always wanted to travel with my family. I'd give my family the world if I could.
And I can give you the world of cinema so easily by going over to MUBI. From timeless classics, award-winning masterpieces, and festival fresh gems, every day MUBI presents a new film. It's like a gift every day for you.
I love that because, as you always say, I think we should watch more movies.
Not only will they smile really hard when they see this, they'll cry really hard as well.
Well,
joy.
Okay, good. Just making sure. How about you, Shay? What are you getting your family for Christmas?
I don't celebrate Christmas. I'm Muslim.
How about New Year's? Do you celebrate New Year's?
Well, I have to.
Oh, well, there's no better way to start off the new year than with a brand new movie every single day.
You can try MUBI free for 30 days at MUBI.com/TheMoviePodcast. That's MUBI.com/TheMoviePodcast for a whole month of great cinema for free. And now, back to the show. You and Tang Wei have such amazing chemistry with one another. What was your first meeting with her like?
네, 탕웨이 배우와의 케미스트리가 정말 좋았는데 처음에 만났을 때 어떠셨나요?
우선 이제 감독님께서 탕웨이 씨를 만나러 가자 해서 탕웨이 씨가 사는 집으로 우리는 찾아갔었습니다.
Well, so one day, Director Park told me that, okay, so let's go meet Tang Wei, and we went to her house.
그녀를 만나기 전에 제가 갖고 있던 이미지는, 여러분은 아시겠지만, 아실지 모르겠지만, 그 이안 감독의, 새끼라는 영화가 있어요. 거기서 굉장히 도발적이고, 비밀을 숨기는 그런 되게 매력적인 캐릭터 이미지로 이제 고려를 하고 찾아갔죠.
Well, and of course, she's really well known for her characterization in Lust Caution, a very provocative and secretive character, and that was so impressive for me. So that was the image that I had in my mind.
그리고 굉장히 도시적인 이미지도, 현대적인 이미지도 이제 생각하면서 갔었는데, 집에 딱 갔더니, 밭을 갈고 있더라고요. 추리닝을 입고, 농작물들을 수확하고 있고 그런 첫 이미지였어요, 저한테.
So of course, the image that I had in my mind about Tang Wei was that she's very, modern woman and very sophisticated and urban. But then once I arrived at her house, what I see is her working on her backyard garden. And, she was literally working on her little farm and, with the little, trainers and That was the first encounter that I had with her.
예, 텃밭이 이렇게 큰 텃밭이라고 볼 수는 없지만 굉장히 자기가 소중히 가꾸고 자기가 일구원 농작물들을 뭐 감자면 감자, 옥수수는 옥수수 여러 가지 야채들을 되게 자부심 있게 우리한테 자랑을 하면서 꽤 농부답더라고요. 그래서 그 밭에서 키워낸 농작물들로 저희한테 음식도 해주고 했던 게 저희한테 첫 이미지였어요. 그래서, 이 배우가 정말 도시적인 이미지도 있지만, 뭔가 되게 여러 가지 색깔을 가지고 있는 배우구나라는 것을 딱 첫눈에 알아볼 수가 있었죠.
I mean, that vegetable garden wasn't that big. But still, I could see that she really cared for this vegetable garden, and she was very proud of what she harvested that day. The potatoes and the corn and some fresh produce, and she had this very big pride that she grew all these, and she even cooked a really good meal with that she picked up that day, and so I could see that this Tang Wei, of course, she can be very urban and sophisticated, but she can be this earthy too. And I could tell that this actress will have different dimensions and so many different colors.
Her character has a very grounded, earthy feel to her herself. I have to wonder, for Park, did you ever take any of that gardening with you? Did she inspire you to garden as well and start to maybe plant your own vegetables?
네, 탕웨이 배우가 그렇게 굉장히 뭐랄까 이게 현실형 진짜 사람 같고 이게 인간 냄새가 나는 사람 냄새가 나는 그런 첫 인상을 가지셨을 것 같은데 그걸 통해서 혹시 박해일 배우님도 나도 그러면 혹시 텃밭을 한번 갈아볼까? 이런 생각을 하셨나요? 혹시 또 텃밭을 가지고 계신가요?
네, 가지고 있어요. 한 평입니다, 딱. 3.3제곱미터. 그래서
yes,
서로 농부들이라고, 이렇게 서로 농담을 했던 적 있죠. 사이즈는 다르지만, 네.
Oh, well, I do have my own vegetable garden. It's a very small one. It's only 3.3 square meters. Yeah, so I told her that we're both farmers.
Now you're competing farmers.
서로 경쟁하는 농부 사이인가요?
맞아요.
Yes, true.
네. 그래서 저는, 극 중에 장혜준이라는 역할이, 그녀에게, 용의자로서의 사망자의 아내이잖아요. 역할로 나오는데, 사망자 아내로서의 의심도 해야 되지만, 그녀에게 묘한, 호기심과 의심과 어떤 공감들을 장혜준의 형사의 입장에서 서서히 그녀에 대한 마음이 조금씩 변하는 모습들을 보여줘야 되다 보니, 왜 감독님이 탕웨이 씨를, 송설의 역할로 캐스팅을 했는지를, 영화의 시작 전부터 이미 알고 있었고, 그녀를 통해서, 그게 몰입하기가 좀 더 수월했고, 좋았던 것 같아요.
And of course, being Chang Hae-joon, he at first, being the detective, wearing the hat of detective, he has to have suspicion against this woman who is the wife of a deceased and also a prime suspect. But then I had to be able to show this very nuanced changes of emotions that's brewing inside of Chang Hae-joon, because that suspicion starts to fade into curiosity, and that starts to fade into romantic feelings towards her. And I had to express that, not overly, but in a very subtle way. And I think I completely understood when I met her. I completely understood why Tang Wei had to be Seo-rae and why Park Chan-wook cast her. I understood that so perfectly that it was easier for me to really, express that evolution of emotions of my character.
Amazing. Now, for this film, is there something that you really want the foreign market to take away from this experience? From watching this movie, everyone in Korea might take it away for a certain way, but is there something that you want the international market, the foreign market, to really take away from this movie?
네, 아마도 한국 관객들이 보시는 거랑 또 해외 관객분들이 보시는 거는 좀 다를 수 있다고 생각을 하는데, 해외 관객분들이 이 영화를 보시고 나서 이런 걸 좀 생각하거나 느끼셨으면 좋겠다 하는 게 있다면 어떤 게 있을까요?
우선 그 탕웨이 씨가 맡은 역할이 이제 외국인 역할이잖아요. 그러다 보니까 우리가 지금 서로 이렇게 그 통역사분과 팟캐스트 그 진행자분과 이렇게 서로에 대한 얘기를 하다 보면은 같은 설정이 영화에서도 나온다고 생각을 하는데 그 언어적 소통에 있어서의 약간의 오해들을 감독님의 시선으로 이렇게 사랑스럽게 표현하는 그런 방식들, 그런 것들이 아마 해외 관객분들과 만났을 때, 무슨, 그 영화 속에서 그 번역 어플 같은 것도 영화적 장치로 나오잖아요. 이런 부분들은 사실은 뭐 영어든 지금 제가 하고 있는 한국말이든 그 언어가 갖고 있는 각자의 고유의 톤들이 같은 의미인데도 그 미세한 다른 톤들의 단어들이 있는데 그런 부분들을 영화 속에서 극으로 이렇게 펼쳐낸다라는 것이 관객분들한테 좀 흥미롭고 공감대를 또 불러일으키지 않나 싶기도 합니다.
Now, Seo-rae is a foreigner living in Korea, right? And right now I'm communicating with you through an interpreter. And in the movie, because Seo-rae is a foreigner, there are some situations where you will see how the subtle differences in the languages or the expressions can create tension or can create a very, even though it's slight, but difference in understanding. And I think that's quite a very lovely illustration or lovely take on this language barrier or language difference. And I think, Director Park Chan-wook did an exceptional job in illustrating that. And of course, there's the interpretation application that's being used, not just as a communication tool, but also as a cinematic device that pushes forward the narrative. So, you will be able to really feel, being a foreigner, watching a foreign film, spoken in a different language. I think the foreign audience will be able to really see that fine differences and the different nuances that is created because of the language barrier and how that is cleverly used in the narrative of the film. And I hope that will, will be more appealing and more captivating to a foreign audience.
그리고 하나 더는 그 많은 관객분들이 그런 부분에 좀 집중하시는 것 같아요. 그 배우의 눈, 뭐 영화 속에 스마트폰 카메라 렌즈의 시선의 눈, 뭐 기억나시겠는지 모르겠지만 수산시장에서 무슨 생선의 눈, 그 송설의 사망자의 남편, 사망자의 시선의 눈. 그러니까 그 영화 속에서 이미 본 관객분들이라든가 영화를 보실 관객분들한테 그 시선, 눈빛에 대한 그런 부분들에 좀 집중해서 보시면 아마 여러 가지 각도로 해석으로 즐기실 수 있는 영화가 아닐까 싶습니다.
And also, I would like to perhaps emphasize or, give a little tip to the audience, for an audience, if they can really try to concentrate on the play on the perspective change. You know how we get to see through the perspective of a cell phone and also we get to see the world through the eye of a fish or of a deceased, the wife of Seo-rae. So this eye or the vision, eye or the perspective, I think that's a keyword that you can take away from this film, and that will make the audience be able to watch the film in a different ways and really enjoy in a different perspective.
Absolutely.
That's something that we actually spoke about a lot when we were discussing the film, that I think the use of the cinematography through the phones and the different perspectives really is so different from what we're used to seeing in Western films. So seeing that use is very, unique for us, and it really is a really cool way of watching a movie and experiencing a film.
네, 안 그래도 저희가 이제 팟캐스트에서 헤어질 결심에 대해서 이야기를 할 때 시점샷에 대해서 이야기를 했습니다. 촬영 기법 자체가 굉장히 특이하다고 생각을 했고요. 서구 영화에서는 많이 볼 수 없는 굉장히 유니크한 그런 이 영화를 차별화시키는 시점샷이라고 생각을 했습니다. 그래서 저희도 그런 어떤 그런 부분 때문에라도 이 영화가 아주 쿨한, 멋진 영화라고 생각합니다.
네, 근데 누구나 요즘 스마트폰 하나는 무조건 갖고 있어야 되는 시대이잖아요. 그러다 보니까 감독님도 그런 얘기를 하셨던 것 같은데, 영화는 굉장히 클래식한 느낌의 색감으로 보여줄 수 있으나, 스마트폰을 적극 활용하기로 끝내 마침내 결정을 하셨대요. 그렇다라는 건 요즘 시대를 담으려는 정서가 있는 거죠. 그거는 정말 탁월한 선택이 아니셨나 싶습니다. 없어서는 안 될 존재잖아요, 요즘에는.
No, I mean, these days, the smartphone is something that is so integral to our daily life that this film, even though it has an air of a very classical film, it has the connotation of classical film in terms of its look and feel, but Director Park Chan-wook decided to really embrace the technology itself and use it so smartly, because, smartphone is everywhere and you cannot avoid it. And so he just embraced it and made a full use of it. And I think that was a very smart choice because that definitely reflects the current time.
Mm-hmm. There's a really cool moment in the movie and something that we haven't seen in Western films really, is where you put on this metal glove to fight an assailant. And during that time, I have to wonder, did you do any, fight training, some choreography, or was that something that you just already had within you?
네, 해준이 이제, 금속 글러브를 차고 싸우는 장면이 나오잖아요. 그 부분이 사실은 서양 사람 입장에서는 굉장히 특이한 씬이라고 생각을 했어요. 이제 싸울 때. 그래서 그 부분은 따로 혹시 트레이닝을 받으신 건지 아니면 워낙 그렇게 싸움을 잘하시는 건지.
그런 에피소드가 있었어요. 그 시나리오를 처음 감독님한테 받아봤을 때 원래는 그런 장갑을 끼고 하는 액션씬이 아니었고 극중 형사 해준이 가지고 있던 손수건으로 이렇게 말아가지고 손에다 말아서 칼을 직접 잡아서 뭔가 현란한 액션을 한다. 그런 게 시나리오 속의 지문이었거든요.
네. Well, I have an anecdote to tell you about that scene. So when I first got the script, it didn't have any mention of the glove. What it said in the script was that Hae-joon will take out his handkerchief and it will wrap his hand with handkerchief and will grab the knife. And then he will do some really fancy, martial arts move.
사실 액션을 이렇게 고려해보면 현장에서, 이대로 가다간 굉장히 힘들겠다, 이게 촬영이. 여러모로 배우한테. 그런 예상이 들어서, 마침 제가 아는, 친한 지인분이 이제 강력계 형사 반장님이셨는데, 그분이 이렇게 저한테 가족이 혹시라도 무슨 일을 당할 수 있으니, 아주 오래된, 공무원 쪽에서는 전혀 이제 쓰지도 않는 오래된 장갑, 그러니까 마검 장갑이죠. 칼을 이렇게 안 다치게 할 수 있는 마검 장갑을 하나를 선물해 줬었어요. 아주 중고로 오래된 걸. 그게 갑자기 책상 속에 있더라고요. 그래서 그게 생각이 나서 감독님한테 혹시 그 장면에서 그렇게 생긴, 그러니까 영화 속에서 나온 소품처럼 보다는 조금 더 일반 장갑에 가까운 재질인데, 이런 장갑도 사실은 쓴다, 형사들이. 그렇게 보여드렸더니 굉장히 좋은 아이디어라고 하시면서, 어, 그 영화 속에 나온 소품을 제작하셔서 썼던 겁니다. 음.
When I read the script, I could tell that it's going to be very difficult for me to pull that action scene off on site. And then I remembered one of my closest friends is actually a detective, homicide detective, and he gave me as a gift this kind of what do you call it, like a pierce-proof, really strong, kind of a heavy-duty glove. It wasn't really worn out, like a kind of a, used glove, but he gave it to me
이를테면
just in case.
정육점에서 쓰는, 손 다치지 말라고, 뭐 그런 정도의 장갑.
It's like, butcher's glove, the glove that will prevent you from cutting. So no cutting, cut-proof glove. Yeah, he gave it to me just in case anything happens to my family, to protect my family. And I had put that under my desk drawer, and I thought of that glove. So I showed it to director Park Chan-wook that, how about not use the handkerchief and use some kind of glove like this, because this is actually something that the detectives and the police use to protect themselves. So and Park Chan-wook thought that was a really good idea, and he made a particular and very peculiar looking metal glove as a prop for the film.
Okay.
I love that. It's
이게
nice to see
사실은
the collaboration.
네, 사실은 액션이 더 배우로서 어려울 것 같아서 그런 아이디어를 제안했던 겁니다.
I mean, I suggested that because, I wanted to avoid, as much as possible any hard action scenes for me to pull off. So.
네.
Well, you did great. You looked natural.
예.
아니, 굉장히 자연스러웠어요. 액션씬 너무 좋았습니다.
네, 고맙습니다.
Thank you.
Before we finish up, we love celebrating movies here on the Movie Podcast. Do you have a favorite film from this year that you've watched?
올해 본 영화 중에 가장 감명 깊게 본 영화가 있다면 뭘까요?
이런 거 진짜 어려운데, 제가 갑자기 생각이 안 나요. 그렇게 제가 영화를 많이 보는 배우분들의 스타일도 있지만, 저는 반대로 영화를 좀 최대한 적게 보는 스타일의 배우에 속하거든요. 왜냐면, 영화를 많이 볼수록 제 연기가 너무나 봤던 영화들에 의지할까봐, 기댈까봐, 글쎄요, 최근에 봤던 영화 잘 생각이 안 나네요.
It's a very difficult question because there are other actors who watch a lot of films, but I'm one of those people who don't watch I kind of try not to watch many films because I don't want to rely on those, films as a reference. So I can't really think of one right now.
That's okay.
원래 집에서 다큐멘터리 이런 거 많이 봅니다.
I love watching documentaries at home.
Okay.
네.
I love that. Well, I just want to say on behalf of both of us, thank you so much for your time today. We loved the film. We are so excited for more from our audiences to be able to watch it now that it's available at home to watch. And thank you again for your time today.
네, 오늘 함께 해주셔서 너무나 감사드리고요. 저희 영화 너무 좋게 잘 봤습니다. 다른 관객분들 많이 볼 수 있게끔 저희도 입소문 내도록 하겠습니다. 고맙습니다.
예, 너무 고맙습니다. 팟캐스트 자리 너무 즐거웠고요. 아직 안 보신 관객분들을 위해서 정말 저희 영화 잘 부탁드리겠습니다.
Well, thank you very much, and it was a pleasure meeting you today, and I look forward to you guys, spread the word of mouth for this great film for me. Thank you.
Thank you so much, and hope we get to see you in Toronto one day.
네, 토론토도 오시게 되면은 그때 만나면 참 좋겠습니다.
네, 언제가 꼭 가고 싶습니다. 여러분, 메리 크리스마스.
Yes, I look forward to that. Merry Christmas, everybody.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And welcome back, Shahbaz. This was a landmark episode for us in a lot of ways too. Having a translator, having that experience is very, very cool. But also speaking to an actor who has done some incredible films in their career, but also to be talking about one that I think is, it's going to go down the awards festival route and all that. But to talk to him just about the process, I thought was really fun. And we had a long time. Sometimes you don't get as long of a time with, especially the lead actors in films, like to really talk with them. So to have almost 40 minutes to really dive into who his character was, what did that mean to you?
It was surreal, like you kind of said there. We don't get this opportunity often, and going through a translator was always something that was a bit interesting, because you're kind of wondering, like the way that we're asking the question, how is it being interpreted? Are the nuances kind of staying the same? But it was crazy just to kind of see us, like, if obviously there's no video version of this, but you would just see us nodding along to whenever Park was talking, and we're like, we have no idea what he's saying, but let's just nod, let's go with it, because I'm sure whatever he's saying is fantastic. And man, his answers were so in depth, so long. Like, I at first got nervous that we had 40 minutes. I'm like, oh my God, are we going to be able to fill that time? And then as we were wrapping up, I'm like, I don't want this to end.
We had more time.
I'm having such a fun time with him, because especially getting all the little nuances about how the movie was made and how much of it was structured around just him. I know you had a great question that you didn't get a chance to ask because you're running out of time, but that's something that I would have loved to know. And if you want to share with everybody what that would have been.
Yeah. So we know that Park Chan-wook wrote this film with Tang Wei and Park Hae-il in mind. So they were offered roles before the script was even written. So a lot of the characters are based on, their likenesses, who they are. And I wanted to ask, we know how you're similar, but how are you different?
Yeah,
and we're cutting close on time. So unfortunately we did not get to ask that question. But I think what was really special about our time, as you were saying, Shay, is really getting to learn those nuances about Park's character, what makes, what was going on in his mind. And it's always interesting, I think, when we're so used to speak to like North American actors, right? So it's always like, I think something that's really cool where we get to speak to someone who, again, not that I never thought this would happen, but to speak to someone who doesn't speak English and have them as a guest in our show, I thought that was really cool. I thought that was a really awesome thing that we were able to get done. Again, thank you to our friends at MUBI for making that happen. It was really, really cool being on like both sides of it, as listening to the interview, but also just seeing the process and how it works. And I think at the end of the day, we love the community that we build here on the show, and it's about connection. And I think our love of movies, and not just me, I'm saying everyone listening, is what brings us together. And like movies could be in different languages, but they're all going to make you feel the same way. And I think that's what was really special about being able to talk with Park Hae-il today.
I think definitely in 2023, what we want to kind of move forward with is more foreign language films, more movies that we don't typically do. And I think as our show continues to evolve, that's going to be something that we're going to be keeping an eye on a lot.
Definitely. So thank you once again to our friends at MUBI for making this interview happen for us. Thank you to our fellow co-host Anthony, who's not on this episode right now, but for being part of the show. Anthony, Shay, thank you for being part of the show. Daniel, thank you for being part of the show. I'm going to thank myself.
You can't thank yourself.
You could thank me.
There's no crying in baseball.
Like we said, it's been an amazing year. We're really happy that we got to sneak out one last episode. But if you want to kind of get more of an idea of how we're kind of feeling right now, go listen to our Christmas special that we dropped earlier this week. To everyone listening, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, whatever you are celebrating. Thank you for sharing your time with us. That is the most important thing. We'd like to thank all of our special guests for sharing their time with us, but it really is you listening to this, you watching this right now. You're sharing your time with us. You are as much of part of the show as we are, and we love what we're doing, and we want to make it even better for you in the years to come. So thank you so much again. That was This Time with the Movie Podcast, and we'll see you next.